that central and south central part of the state. So feel free to email or contact us for more information on those activities as well. Okay, just going to check here. I think we have our first guest speakers on. So I'm going to turn it over to Desiree. Actually, I'll just mention both names right now. So Desiree Nodeboom is with Vocational Rehabilitation, which I know we all heard, listened to a session yesterday with Katie and Jessica Hovland about some information about collaborating with VR. But Desiree will touch on a few other points this morning. So Desiree is with Vocational Rehabilitation, and then Sierra Johnson is with Service to the Blind and Visually Impaired. So I am going to turn it over to Desiree first.
Hello. Don't mind me if I get a little nervous, even with the camera. So I'm pretty new to Voc Rehab myself. I just started in this position in September, but I really enjoy the different programs that we have, the variety that we have. So with that, you know, we start working with kids at about age 14 in school on employment skills. And then we work all through life. So even when they get out of school, we can continue working with them and any services that they may need. So we work with all different kind of disabilities, from, you know, learning disabilities, mental health issues, hearing impaired, of course, is Sierra with her visual impairments as well. We offer the project skills opportunity with kids that are 16 and through 18 in high school. And that is where we partner up with the school to allow the kids to have some job experience and be paid for that. Once, let's see, they get out of school, or in some situations we have a work experience program where, again, we partner with employers that are willing to work with anybody and give them a job, and they may not be able to pay them at that time, but that's where we step in and can help with them getting paid for that experience. And hopefully at the end of that experience, they offer them a job and can see that turn into a career for them. There's many other different things that we offer, you know, anything from assistance with hearing aids, assistance with going to college, VOTEC, anything like that, if they're looking at furthering their education, getting that extra training and things like that. We can help them with purchasing clothing if they need it, any equipment that they need to get started in a position that they're starting, you know, any kind of employment tools and so on. So I guess I'm trying to think of anything else. Of course, career counseling and guidance is what we offer the most, and then we hook them up with like job coaching or a provider that can assist them with job coaching and finding jobs, doing resumes, and that kind of thing. So that's just kind of in a nutshell some of the stuff we can help with. So Sierra, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, so my name is Sierra Johnson. I work for Service to the Blind and Visually Impaired. I am out of the Pierre office, and I cover all of Central South Dakota, essentially. Service to the Blind is also a part of Voc Rehab, so I am a Voc Rehab teacher as well, and I work specifically with individuals who are blind or have visual impairments. The way our programs differ a little is Service to the Blind allows their clients to, allows us to help pay for, you know, maybe eye surgeries or, you know, those medical needs where you don't see in typical DRS VR, they don't pay for a lot of medical needs, but if we can help pay for some medical expenses, if it's related to vision and if it's going to improve their vision. Again, we can start working with kids as young as 14. At age 16, they can start doing project skills, which Desiree mentioned, is to get them experience in the workforce and learning those soft skills. We help with transition age students, and then again, as Desiree said, after transition. So we work with the schools and with the family to help create a plan for those students once they're later high school and what they're going to do after high school. So that could be, like she said, apprenticeships, certification, VOTEC, Job Corps, regular college, or if they want to go right into the workforce, we can help get them connected with job providers, or specifically Service to the Blind has training programs to help them if their vision is continuing to decrease, or in the future that they know that their vision will eventually be relatively gone someday, or if it's going to continue to get worse. We provide skills of blindness training. They can go to the rehab center in Sioux Falls and get extensive training there in different fields, and ultimately learn to be completely independent despite their visual impairments. I also do independent living, and typically people think that's for older blind individuals, which a lot of it is, but I also can work with high school students or students right out of high school who are learning to be more self-sufficient, and maybe if they haven't been having to do a lot of skills at home because parents have been compensating for that because of their vision, I can start working with them in teaching those skills to them. I also have done trainings to some facilities in the area and just teaching their staff there some basic skills of blindness training to help encourage students to be, or any of their clients to be, more independent. Other than that, I'm pretty much the same as VR. I just have those two different positions. And yeah, I guess that's really about it. Those chats aren't for me, I don't think. So does anybody have any questions about what we do in Voc Rehab, or specifically Service to the Blind, and how that might be different than typical Voc Rehab?
Yes, Sierra, what age might be typical for your first contact, or when would you like to be invited? I know that there's outreach folks. Maybe you work with younger students. Could you kind of explain that system and how all of that can work, and what teachers should do to get you involved?
So with parental consent, we can start working with students at age 14. We don't really get into like project skills, which is a big thing that we do with our transition age, but we still work on transition skills. We still work with the family on kind of planning ahead and assessing where those students are in their independence skills and what they're going to need to be successful after high school. So we like, as counselors, we like to be involved as early as possible. I know I have had some students who haven't contacted me until their senior year when they're ready to go to college. Again, that's something that we can help do some funding for based on financial need, of course. In assistive technology, we can do assessments for that to help determine, what technology might make them more successful. We can also do that for students in high school and help purchasing some of that technology that's going to make them more successful if that's something that they're really needing. So as young as possible, really, we like to get in there and get started and working with students to kind of just be thinking about what's going to happen in the future. And I know at age 14, or even 15, 16, students don't really think about what's going to happen after high school, but we like to just help them learn those, learn those soft skills and just start planning for the future, as well as planning with a family. We do help students get connected and parents get connected to other resources. So if they're kind of questioning if there's going to need to be a guardianship after high school or what those other options look like, we help connect people to those resources as well. So those students can ultimately be as independent as possible after high school. You have to get parental consent to invite us to IEP meetings, but once you do have that consent, the school, the special education teachers typically have our contact, or you can just call our office directly and just ask that we attend. We go to IEP meetings. Students don't have to be signed up for our services for us to attend those IEP meetings. We're kind of can just be there as another resource and support and offer information.
There's a question. Says, can you tell us what things would work?
Yep. So for those age 14 students, I guess I personally focus on a lot of person-centered thinking, again, getting them to think about what are they doing by themselves right now, what skills do they have yet to develop before they graduate high school, and what do we need to do collaboratively as a team to get those skills to be developed. It really just depends. I would say typically we were going into the schools at least once a month to work with those students. I have a lot less transition age students than Desiree or even Carol is another counselor in our office. So I can typically be there a little bit more, but I know Carol was also going into the school last year at least twice a month. So it kind of just depends on the availability of the counselor, but at least once a month we like to meet with them. And then in between those meetings too, there could be other things that we assign to the students, I guess, or work with them on or ask them to work on in between our meetings.
The next question is, how should we contact Voc Rehab? I guess my advice would be, if you have a student that you feel would benefit from our services, or a family that might be interested in learning more about our services, go ahead and make that referral. And we'll go through the process of application and finding out, you know, all their diagnoses and things, and go from there with them. As far as if visual impairment has to be the primary disability, it does if you are working with services for the blind and visually impaired.
No.
No?
No. I work with, vision does not have to be their primary disability to work with me, but anybody who has visual impairments, typically they do push over to me because I have that extra training and expertise in that area. Sometimes we do collaborative cases where they work with a DRS VR counselor or me as an SPVI counselor. I know that we try to stay away from that just because it gets a little confusing on who does what in those situations. But to work with me, if they have any kind of visual impairment, that doesn't have to be their number one disability. But I will mention, if you can have it listed as their primary disability, if it really truly should be their primary disability, look into doing that, because once they get into once they receive benefits, or if they're maybe going to need benefits, they have a higher SGA level and they have a little bit more incentives that they can use if they have a visual impairment. So, to make a referral, you can just either contact your special education teacher and have them send a referral to us, or you can just call our office directly, and I can put our office number in the chat, and just let us know that you have somebody who is interested. And like Desiree said, we can just go through that intake process, or we can sign them up as potentially eligible. So we can have them on our list and maybe not be so much an active client, but we can keep them on our radar a little bit that way too.
And Sierra and Desiree, I guess, would it be fair to say that the important thing for teachers to remember is, if they're not sure if the student's going to qualify under VR or SBVI, just contact one of your offices, and you guys will figure that out. When you get the data and the documentation about the person, what I've seen anyway is VR and SBVI staff kind of get together and say, okay, well, I see that there's also a visual impairment here, and kind of talk about it. And
right.
decide.
Yep. So we're located in the same office. So when you call into our office, you get to our secretary, Brittany, who's actually out on maternity leave right now, but we're all in the same office. So she really takes in those referrals. And then from there, we decide what counselor is going to get assigned to the case. So yeah, just call our office and we will figure it out. Like if you have any questions or maybe they might be eligible, definitely make a referral because it doesn't hurt to ask.
Right, right. Good.
That's a question regarding SSI. Generally, we do not help families fill out the applications for SSI. We usually make that referral to Western Resources, as they are about the only agency that really can help them do that. I have had situations where it was kind of an emergency and Candy was really busy and things, so I was able to, but most of the time we make that referral to Western Resources to help with that.
Yeah, Western Resources or Independent Living does cover some of these other counties that I cover, I know too. So those are two. Also, we help people get connected with benefit specialists. Tara Boehm is the one that's in this area, and she can just provide a lot of information and really do an assessment with whoever is receiving benefits to kind of determine what that's going to look like and how we can help them best. And then we have another question. You can contact us prior to your kid being 16 to learn about services. If you ever have any questions, if parents ever have any questions, they can call us at any time and we can answer those questions regardless of how old the kid is. I've had parents talk to me who have kids in elementary school with visual impairments and what that might look like once they get to 14 in high school age.
Sierra, this is Cindy. I just wanted to point out, as Katie and Jessica talked yesterday, a student necessarily doesn't have to be on an IEP to qualify for VR services.
Right, they can be like on a 504. I mean, like I have students who are on just a 504 too if they have that visual impairment. Some of them, yeah, are not on an IEP. They just, if they have a visual impairment, which typically only I think applies to me more than like Desiree or Carol, but yeah, they don't have to be in an IEP for a visual impairment. As long as they have a visual impairment that cannot be corrected with glasses. So, low vision, lots of people wear glasses. I don't work with those kinds of students, but if they have incorrectable vision impairment.
We do work with a few kids that are not on IEPs or 504 plans anymore either. It just depends on what their need is. So again, if you're just questioning at all, go ahead and send it in and we'll check and see. So.
Right. There is a question here about, can a parent contact you prior to age 16 to learn about your services prior to becoming part of the school IEP?
Yep,
yeah.
Yep, you can contact us anytime.
And actually, I'm working with a 14-year-old right now on trying to find a job. So, even though, Project Skills doesn't start till 16, if they're wanting to find a job and they can find a job where, they're hiring 14-year-olds, we can definitely help them with that as well.
Yep, I maybe should mention, I know after they get out of school and we have some of those students who go into the workforce or go into an education system, all of our services after high school are employment based. So, all of our services are employment based, but we don't work with individuals with disabilities unless their goal is some kind of employment. And I think sometimes that gets confused, especially for, I know for me, people contact me about helping with eye surgeries and things like that, but they're not working and they have no interest in working. We can't do that. Our funding is based on getting those people employed or keeping them employed. So it's all employment based.
Okay, well, I think we have addressed all the questions, and I'm looking at our time. We've got some very tight time frames this morning. So thank you, ladies, both Desiree and Sierra. Appreciate all your information, and thanks for the good questions, everyone. Okay, we are going to move on to our two favorite chefs. If you attended the session yesterday on serving up career development, we had Chef Megan and Chef Andrea. So they are back to join us this morning and talk to us more in general about career and technical education. I will turn it over to, who wants to start?
Hi, I can. Good morning. I'm so glad that you're all here today, and I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday morning. My name is Andrea Deem, and I do work at the Department of Education, and I just want to let you know that both Megan and I are, we're both go-getters this morning because we both gave a link to get to these resources that we're going to share. So those are in the chat box. Megan, do you want to, oh, I should say what I do, sorry. At the Department of Education, I work in the Division of Career and Technical Education, and in my role, I work with school counselors and K through 12 career development and also graduation requirements. Megan?
Yes, Megan Tatum, and I work with SD My Life in career development. So SD My Life is a program for students grades 6-12, and we will go over that in just a minute. But then I also work with K-12 career development, and I help support the CTE staff and Andrea as well.
Awesome. If you're having an issue accessing the document, we will, when we get done, we'll double check that we have it on access to everybody. Otherwise, if you still have an issue, just give us an email and we'll send you the PDF copy to it. It's, to be honest, it's just a Google Doc that has links to the websites that we're going to show you today. So it's nothing that we can't handle getting out to you. Thanks for sharing that, Shayna. Okay, so what you see, hopefully you can see the PowerPoint slide. Could someone just nod to let me know you can see it? Thank you, Bev. All right, so we decided we were culinary themed yesterday. We're gonna bring on the theme even further and go with a cupcake theme to show you how our division works and what services we provide through our Division of Career and Technical Education. So at the bottom of a cupcake is all of our staff. I believe we have 13 staff members. Don't quote me on the counting there because sometimes we have 12, sometimes we have 13. But on the icing on the top of the cupcake are really some of the services that we provide. So we'll be highlighting all of those for you in our short amount of time here. So let's dive into our Division of CTE staff. So like I said, the Google document link that you have in the chat box just gets you a link to access all of these web links we'll show you on the slides. So once again, if you have any issues accessing it, just let us know. We're happy to save it as a PDF and send it to you. Otherwise, Megan just changed the settings so that anyone with the link should be able to access it now. So we have various types of contacts at our division. We have some people that are remotely located throughout the state. So you can see this map right here. These are regional specialists and they work with schools in those colored territories, and they work with schools with their CTE programs to help them have high quality programs and work with funding to help support those programs, and then with career development in general. And then we have other staff like Megan and myself that might not work right with CTE technical assistance with schools, but we'll work with career development in general, and we'll share some other services that we provide too. But you will notice over here on this arrow, there is a full contact list to see who does what. So it's kind of a nice way to just see who does what in case you have certain questions or anything.
So each of our specialists also work with the different clusters. So if if your school has a ag program or a FACS program, each of those programs have a regional specialist kind of assigned to them as well. So, and that's in that contact sheet. So the next part is career and technical education. So we'll talk a little bit about the career and technical education services and site as well. So the site that we have here is our career clusters page. And so there's a list of the 16 career clusters that I was just mentioning. Each cluster has a specialist that works with it as well. And the specialists offer professional development around that, and as well as if you were to click on any of these clusters, you would see their standards. So each of the clusters has a program of study and has standards that go along with those as well. So, and the programs can be approved programs as well, and the regional specialists help with that process.
Awesome sauce. If you're getting hungry like I am, I apologize. But we wanted a good graphic for you. So there's going to be some tasty cupcakes you'll see on here. Next comes the area I work with, graduation requirements. So we have new graduation requirements that are in full implementation this school year. So I want to give you a heads up on that part. I'm definitely not the content expert when it comes to applying graduation requirements with students on an IEP. However, I do house the graduation requirements webpage. And so if you ever do have questions, I can get you to the right point of contact. Otherwise, just go to this nifty web page here, and under contact shows who you contact.
Next up is SD My Life, and this is what I was mentioning earlier. I'm the point of contact in the state for SD My Life, and SD My Life is powered by Zello, now previously Career Cruising. Now it's Zello, same company, just they updated their product to a new program. And so SD My Life, again, is for all students grades 6 through 12. And the things you can do on there is research careers, colleges. There's an ACT test prep on there for 9th through 12th grade students. There's different assessments. So there's the matchmaker that helps align students' interests with careers. There's a skills assessment, so students can rate their skills, and then it'll show, the results will show careers that take similar skills as to what the students rated their skills at. And then there is also a learning styles, a personality styles assessment on there. There's just lots of great things. There's interactive lessons that they have within Zello now, and there's 4 per grade level. And they vary from anything from like financial assistance to, or not assistance, but resources to the career development, the career exploration piece, to college exploration, to job shadowing, internships. There's a lot of different things on there that the lessons will help students consider. I do offer free training for SD My Life. I haven't done one specific to SPED in quite some time, and I would be happy to set one up to work with whoever I need to get it out to you guys, that information out to you guys. But yes, I do offer training at no cost. So I saw that as a question.
Great question. Okay. Next slide, dual credit. So dual credit is also housed in our division, and our coworker Amber Rost works with dual credit in particular, more at the state level. I would always suggest that if you have students that are wanting to take dual credit, that they contact the institution itself. So on this web page, which is actually on SD My Life, you don't have to log in or anything, but this does have the point of contacts for every post-secondary institution. So that includes our public universities and our technical colleges. FYI, as of July 1st, technical institutes are now called technical colleges. So if you want to use the right lingo, that's what it's called now. So check that out. Yep.
I'm gonna jump back to SD My Life too. So when you're on SD My Life, if you go to the educators tab and you click on, you can click on those 3 little lines and click educators. And then once you're there, you can click on lessons and resources. There's a ton of great career development activities. That's kind of what our presentation yesterday, we used some of those activities there, but it's, again, you don't have to log in to get to those resources, just a lot of great career exploration information there.
Sorry, and Megan, speaking of SD My Life, I see there's a couple questions. So Stacy has one about, does SD My Life have a scope and sequence by grade level of skills students need to learn and when? Stacy's looking for something to help in presenting 6th, 7th, and 8th graders need to be working on transition skills.
So there is a scope and sequence of things you can do throughout the program for each grade level. A lot of those focus on those interactive lessons that are within the program, but I can share, if you want to take the next slide too, Andrea, I will go find the scope and sequence.
Sure thing. Okay, work-based learning support. So I used to have this under my wing. Now our coworker, Jamie Betcher, works with it. And really, we have a work-based learning page. To be honest, work-based learning, in case you're wondering the definition, it's essentially any way that business or industry is involved to help students with their career development. So that is my Cliff Note version of the definition, but we have a full definition on our webpage. We also have some examples of work-based learning experience and how work-based learning really can go K through 12 and beyond. Also, there are some documents and forms there to help with it too. So check that out. We'll go to the next one. Industry recognized credentials. Oh, and it looks like Megan just put in a link on the chat box on how you can check out Zello, Scope, and Sequence. Just keep in mind, Zello is the company that provides the program. We call it SD My Life powered by Zello because we are South Dakota, and South Dakota My Life has been the branding we've been using. Do you want this one, Megan?
Sure. So industry recognized credentials, our office works with the Department of Labor to create an approved list of industry recognized credentials. And that list that we're talking about is referring to the South Dakota graduation requirements. There's advanced endorsements. One of those is the career endorsement. And you need an industry recognized credential for that. There are a ton of industry recognized credentials, and there's nothing wrong with getting ones that are not on the approved list. That anything is great and helpful to students. But our site offers that list of approved and how to add credentials to that list as well. But then there's also other information on there about how it relates to graduation requirements or how to get those transcribed on to their transcript. And then there's links there as well. So there's just a ton of information. And I believe Brianna from our office works with the industry recognized credentials. So, and there's contact information on our site as well. And then the Department of Labor also has information about industry recognized credentials. So.
Yes, and to our knowledge, we believe that the approved industry recognized credentials are aligned with WIOA, the Workforce Investment Opportunity Act, out of the Department of Labor and Regulation. So it's nice to have things streamlined and connected. That's usually our goal anyway. And last but certainly not least, our office works with educator professional development. And so I've seen a lot of good chat on our chat box about a SD My Life training for special education teachers. That's great. We do provide professional development. And something to know that's coming up very soon, actually August 3rd through 5th, is a free professional development opportunity for any type of educator or anyone who has a interest in the sessions being offered, and that's our virtual CTE conference. So if you've been enjoying this virtual conference, come check out ours coming up here soon. Once again, the link will be in that document for you to sign up, and it's absolutely free. CEUs or graduate credit is offered too.
And you can attend all or any pieces of it. You don't have to attend the entire thing. Pretty much most of the stuff that we've talked about today, there's some type of session on it throughout the whole thing. There's some stuff that relates to Perkins if you're more interested in the Perkins Acts and what funds CTE. There's more information about work-based learning. There's information about virtual tools. So Andre and I are doing a presentation about doing engagement with virtual tools. So lots of different things available.
I will be presenting on the new grad requirements as well. I'm going to give you the scoop on the new grad requirements. So little pizzazz in there. So you got the whole cupcake here. It's gluten-free, calorie-free, quite delicious and delightful. And we have other services that we offer, but we wanted to give you the bird's eye view of what we do. If you want to look in further, check us out. This is our main hub webpage. So this would be for the division of CTE, and it has lots of good information in it. It talks about, if you're wondering which schools you work with or that you're at, what their approved programs are for CTE. So what career development programs do they have in their schools? You can check that out there. There's some good info. I really like this infographic right here. It helps talk about what CTE is and what it isn't. There's a lot of myths and misconceptions about what type of student is able to take career and technical education courses. And honestly, it's for any type of student, for any type of career interest or aspirations. And that's the cool part. So check it out. If you do have other questions, you're always welcome to contact Megan or me. And if we're not the content expert, we'll get you to the right person. So not a big deal at all. Otherwise, that is our presentation. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here.
Okay, well, you can certainly leave the cupcakes and food up if you'd like. It's really nice to look at. Thank you, ladies, so much. And I would put a plug in for your CTE conference as well. As a TSLP liaison, I've attended a couple times, and very, very good information. So I think this would be a perfect opportunity for special educators to participate in, especially since it's virtual and it's free and you can just attend what you want. So thank you, ladies. Okay, we're going to move right along to our next guests. Our speakers are going to be speaking staff from Independent Living Choices. And I will mention that, as Sierra and Desiree had mentioned, Western Resources for Independent Living covers the western part of the state. We were unable to have anybody representing them on, so we do have a couple people from Independent Living Choices who cover the eastern part of the state. So I'm going to turn it over to Kathleen Zepeda and Allison Schmidt.
Hello, I'm Allison Schmidt. I am in the Aberdeen office with Independent Living Choices. I'm in one of the expansion offices. Kathleen, are you there? I don't know if she's here.
There, I'm here.
Okay, sweet. Here, do you want to start out?
Sure. Hi, this is Kathleen, and I'm in the Sioux Falls office with Independent Living Choices. What we do is we help people with disabilities to stay independent in their homes, and whoever makes independence their choice. We do a lot of things. We have like I said, our main office is in Sioux Falls, but we have offices in Aberdeen, Huron, Brookings, Mitchell, Watertown, Yankton, Mobridge, and now Martin. So we do cover the eastern South Dakota and the 9 tribal regions as well. What we do is too, we see that the problem doesn't lie with the person, it lies with the environment. So with that being said, we're always helping the person change their environment or adapt to their environment. And a couple things that we do is advocacy with, and what that means is, of course, we encourage self-advocacy for people, but if that's not going to work for them, then we help them, help them have a voice. And one of the things that we do is, I know it was mentioned earlier, we help people apply for SSI, SSDI, whatever it needs to be, and other benefits. We also attend IEP meetings if we're invited. The parents and the students can invite us to the IEP meetings, and we're happy to attend and kind of let them know what we can provide.
Yes, Andrea, Dave Helverson calling from the Transition Project. St. Patrick was going to help us with, we've got a training that we're doing this morning, and didn't see his name popping up on our screen here for.
Dave, can you mute your button, please?
I just muted him. Sorry.
Sorry, the other couple of things that we do is we teach independent living skills, and that's pretty broad. It really depends on the person, because we're all different, we all need different things, but we can do things like cooking, cleaning, budgeting, and we always like to remind them, we're not going to come in and do it for you, but we're going to teach you and do it alongside. Allison, take it away.
All right, another service we provide is peer support. So we offer one-on-one by a visitor, which is a volunteer. They are trained. We also do train ones to become that visitor. We also have support groups. So every office is different. So they might have one for adult, for youth, maybe traumatic brain injury, just all depends on their area and what they need for their groups. A next service we do provide is community living services. So that's for accessible, affordable housing. We assist with applying for housing. And then also for benefits like SNAP, fuel assistance. We also teach them how to use transportation if you have bus service in your town, like Sioux Falls, Ride Line, like in Aberdeen. We can assist with learning how to use that transportation for them. Another service that we do is a big program for us. It's called our Summer Transition Program. So that's for the ages 16 to 21 years of age with a disability. And what we do, it's a program, and they learn about independent living skills. So we may teach the skills, or we have guest speakers that can come in and talk about their agencies and how they can assist with them. Such as VR, housing, just any of those kind of agencies. We try to collaborate with all agencies in the community to get the students to come participate in our program. Every office is going to look a little different. So some offices may just do the program 1 week in the summer, where one may do it a whole month, or they might do it throughout the whole year, just depending on what works best for them. So that's kind of just a rundown of our agency, since we kind of have limited time. But feel free, if you have any questions, reach out to any of our offices. We're more than happy to help with any of those questions.
Allison, there is a question. Can you help people with SSI applications?
Yes,
Yes.
we do that quite a bit. So with that process, it depends on if we assist with applying online with them. We also can go with them to their appointments to apply in person or over phone. So. So the requirements for our services, it all depends on what service we are providing for you. Typically for this youth age 16 to 21 would be a copy of their IEP. We do work along with maybe a doctor, a counselor's letter. With the HMAD, we do, if they receive SSI or SSDI, they qualify. So those are some kind of requirements we do offer.
Allison, can you explain what HMAD is?
Yep, sorry. So that's for adaptive devices. So our agency, we assist with getting like ramps, bathroom modifications, shower chairs, grab bars, those kinds of things. So that's with those adaptive devices. That's what HMAD is.
Does anyone have any other questions for these ladies with independent living choices? Please note they said that they can help individuals with SSI applications. I know that's a biggie for certainly people around here. I would imagine around the whole state. Those applications can be quite intimidating, I think, and there aren't a lot of people and places that I know of that can help folks with that. So that could be a huge service to assist people with. So for teachers to be aware of.
And one other thing too is we do work along the side with VR too. So we do get referrals from them, and they work with us with giving us an authorization to work with that participant as well. So we work quite a bit with them as well.
Great. Great.
Megan, somebody had the question, or they missed what agency, so I put that in the chat, but did you say you cover all of Eastern South Dakota plus the tribal reservations? Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. All righty.
Okay, if there's no further questions, thank you ladies so much for jumping on and joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Great. Okay, I'm not sure if do we have Pat on with us yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yay. I'm going to turn it over to you, Pat. Pat is with Dakota Link.
Hi, Bev.
Hi.
Thanks for giving me a few minutes here. For those of you that didn't join us yesterday, it's a pleasure to have a minute here today. I am Patrick Zerny, and I'm with Dakota Link, and we have been providing assistive technology solutions to individuals around the state here for the past 28 years now. And we do that in part through a federal grant that we have. We have offices located in Rapid City and Sioux Falls and Brookings and Aberdeen. And out of those offices, we have 6 and 7 technicians operating to provide assessments and recommend equipment and provide installation and training on that assistive technology. And most of the people that are working for us have been with us for well over 10 years. We have many years of combined experience in dealing with this equipment here in the state of South Dakota and even around the state of South Dakota for that matter. But the grant is available to provide any free information on assistive technology, any information or ideas that you have that you want to share, or questions that you have regarding assistive technology. We would enjoy the opportunity to answer those questions and either provide information or provide the resources that are available around the state for that information. We know where there are opportunities for programs to help people acquire assistive technology, and obviously on a fee-for-service basis, we provide some of that activity as well. In doing our grant, the state, the Department of Human Services in particular, asked us in 1995 to start providing one-on-one assessments and installation and training of assistive technology. And so we do have not only the grant activity, but we have the fee-for-service activity as well. And with that, we work with school districts around the state, and we work very closely with vocational rehabilitation. They are our biggest partner. And with vocational rehabilitation, we have a referral process set up so that if a consumer you're working with is interested in transitioning to college or technical school, they would meet with their vocational rehabilitation counselor. And if between them and their vocational rehabilitation counselor, they determine that assistive technology may be of benefit to them, then a referral would be sent to a Dakota Link. And then at that point, we would assign a technician to work with that student or consumer and provide an assessment within 21 days. And then that report would be sent on to the vocational rehabilitation counselor.
Patrick?
And go ahead.
Let's see, and we're kind of running up on a break here, but just a couple of quick questions. Let's see, if a teacher is interested in finding out more about technology, maybe having someone attend an IEP meeting, is that a possibility? If it's virtually or in person?
We've attended IEP meetings, and we'd be glad to do that. We don't do it every day, but we definitely have done it. And if the team felt that it was important for us to attend, we'd be willing to do that.
And maybe to call you ahead of time if there's some questions, if a teacher or parent has questions.
Yeah, Yeah, a lot of times what'll happen is a teacher in preparation for an IEP meeting will ask what an assistive technology assessment will cost. I will send them a quote, and then they will present that that cost to the team at that time if it is at a meeting where we're not present. Typically, that's what happens.
Okay. And let's see, Cindy did share the Dakota Link website. And any last words for us here?
Well, I just once again appreciate the opportunity and hope that the rest of your presentations and sessions go well today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Pat.